All right, everybody, welcome back to a lifetime of conversations. I'm not telling you my name anymore because Rob's mad at me.
No, I'm not. Everything's fine.
So today I'm back to one of my research papers here. Not a research paper. It's paper I wrote research on.
I already graded it. F. Big red Sharpie.
I got a fantastic, everybody. This is great. So I wanted to talk about ticks. I know it's a weird topic, right? Nobody just like talks about ticks because like when you think of ticks, what's the first thing you think of?
Tourette syndrome.
Tourette syndrome? For ticks.
Yeah.
Like the bug.
Oh, bugs.
Not that kind of tick. Like the actual insect.
I know,
Not an
I
insect.
know.
Technically, it's an arachnid. Yeah. And even more technically, it's the only parasitic exclusive arachnid. Because then you got scorpions, spiders, mites. We were talking about, like, on one previous episode, the mites in our fucking,
Hair.
eyebrow hair and shit. They're arachnids, but they're part of it, right? Ticks got a bad rap. And, they should. They're terrible.
Yeah.
But what do you think of when people talk about ticks? Is it,
Something that climbs on you in the woods, sticks into you, and drinks your blood.
okay, right. That just... Thanks, Rob. You just defined parasite. We appreciate that. But specifically with ticks, there is one thing that everyone...
Lyme disease.
Lyme disease, right. Now, they can transmit, carry, host, and transfer all kinds of things from bacteria to viruses to parasites, all kinds of stuff, right? Now, they're responsible up to 77% of disease passed by humans in the United States, and, which include Lyme disease and spotted fever as the main two. You're basically the African equivalent to mosquitoes. It's like we don't have malaria, dengue, and all that stuff here in the United States. Prevalent. We do have it in certain parts, but they control it. But ticks, they can't control ticks. There's just no way. The best you can do is just hope you never get one, right? Because once you get Lyme disease, if they don't catch it early, it's pretty dangerous. But Lyme disease has been around. We've known about this for 30, 40 years, right? Way before. I don't even know how long. Long enough. But here's something most people have never heard of. Alpha-gal syndrome.
Alpha-gal syndrome.
Alpha-gal syndrome. They call it AGS. It's also known as the mammalian meat allergy disease.
Wow.
Yes.
That doesn't sound
This is
good.
wild. Now, this has been around again for about 20 years, but we've seen upticks, no pun intended, of the increased diagnosis of it with people. Basically, it causes a red meat allergy in your body where if you get this, and it's percentage. So some people are much higher and some people are lower. Like a lot of allergies are. That the ones that are higher, you can't eat red meat ever again.
Wow.
It basically, the tick bites you and forces your body to be a vegetarian. Sorta. Like fish doesn't count. It's a protein that it's a sugar that it attaches to, not a protein. Where most things, and the reason they talk about it is because it's uniquely only one of two things that can cause an allergy to a sugar, not a protein. Because generally we have, like, if you're allergic to shrimp, you're allergic to the protein in the shellfish, right? But there's no sugar. But mammals make this very specific protein. I don't even think I wrote it down. It was hard to describe. But almost all mammals produce the sugar except for humans and some other primates. So that's special. The fact that us and some monkeys and apes are the only ones that don't make this. But every other mammal, red meat mammal, makes this protein. And somehow the tick passes it on. And it's been since 2007 when it was confirmed as an actual disease. It's just gotten worse. Their territory, from what they gather, is spreading. And, of course, I feel like everything is, climate change. It's getting warmer. Ticks prefer the warm weather. They don't particularly like the cold. I mean, we had them in Pennsylvania, but you didn't get ticks in the winter, obviously. But the warmer the place to get, then there's still a summer somewhere. So these ticks are spreading. So now not only do you have to worry about Lyme disease and Rocky Mountain spotted fever and shit, but you have to worry about being allergic to red meat. That's crazy. You ever heard of that?
No, that would suck.
And it's rare. Like I was following it a while ago, like even years ago, and then they mentioned it, but it wasn't a big deal. And the symptoms, it can take up to like from 10 days to 3 months to develop. Some people get cramps, nausea, excessive rashes. Some people get violently ill. But again, is a percentage of the severity of the allergy.
Okay, so these symptoms manifest after you eat the meat, or as a result of you getting bit by the tick?
As a result of getting bit by the tick, yeah. Okay. And they I think they assume that it comes from the saliva. They don't even know how it's transferred. Like, this is so fresh and new that it's like they needed so many case studies, and so many people go, they maybe have it and be eating red meat and just get this weird rash that they get and not even think about it. They don't even know they have it because a lot of doctors are misdiagnosing or not diagnosing at all because they don't feel confident enough to make have an answer. But they've recently, within the last 5 years, the numbers have soared. But this is wild. I mean, there's lots of crazy shit out there.
So how far are they in the advancement of developing a vaccine to this?
There is no cure.
No vaccine.
No, there's no vaccine. There's no cure. They don't even understand it by itself. It's like it's sort of like, it's not like COVID because COVID's more of a virus. This is more of a sugar allergy. There's a difference when it comes to an allergy. It's like people that are allergic to shellfish. Is there a cure? No, they just don't fucking eat shellfish. Yeah. Even if you're allergic to animals, but you love your cat or dog, you can take Benadryl to subside the allergic reaction. You could maybe use anti-inflammatory type, shampoos and things like that to minimize it. But there's no way you're ever going to be cured of that. It's just, you'll always have that. So you either deal with it or you avoid it. And this is pretty much the same case as of yet, from what I've gone through.
Wow.
Yeah, but I was looking into it. It's just wild. So basically, science can't explain yet why ticks spread it, but they suspect it's in their saliva. So when a tick bites you, it can cause our bodies to produce IgE antibodies to fight against the alpha-gal because we don't make it. So basically, your body treats meat as a foreign invader because of the sugar protein in the mammalian meat. So that's basically any steak, burger. You're talking about any hooved animal, pigs too. I think poultry is separate because it's not technically a red meat. Fish and poultry, I don't think it counts, or any kind of poultry. Yeah. But again, there's so little information when you try to look into this. You get the same information because it's like when you get to the end of the book and there's going to be more. They just haven't written it yet. Right. That's kind of where we're at, and it's like. And then I tried to read some papers. Oh good Lord! Yeah, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a fucking science guy. I can't understand this shit. I need layman's terms, people.
Or Bill Nye.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, but Bill Nye tends to go doom and gloom real quick.
Well, you just said you're not a science guy.
I'm not. I see what you mean. Oh, totally missed that.
Oh, boy.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, so let's see. So when you eat...
Oh, man.
All right. So when you eat any kind of meat, our body's treated as an invader. It can manifest in various ways, like uncomfortable rashes to severe... anaphylaxis. So it can go as far as anaphylaxis, which again would be like a severe seafood allergy, right? Throat closing up and all that nine. But then there's also there's more. There's nausea, vomiting, heartburn, indigestion, diarrhea, cough, shortness of breath, drop in blood pressure, swelling of the lips, tongues, and eyelids, dizziness, and fainting. Now these are all it's like when you see acne medicine on TV, like cures your acne. But side effects may include, liver failure.
Slow down, buddy.
They go into these terrible things that could happen. Now, most people get one or two of those side effects, but God, be dread if you're the person to get more than four, right?
Or the anaphylaxis,
right? In itself,
that's the only one I can care about.
Kill you. Yeah.
The rest of them, I'll eat meat.
Then if you don't have an EpiPen, you're in a lot of trouble, right? Carrying around EpiPen in case someone gave you meat,
I'll go to I'll go to a steakhouse with an EpiPen sticking out of my neck. All right, I'll take the filet medium rare. Just keep dosing me.
Every time you take a bite, like someone standing behind you, just stabbing you in the neck. That's some good meat.
Hit me, Doc.
Hit me again. Give me the old 96er. Remember that? That was from Great Outdoors.
Oh, my God. Yeah, they'd be like, how come this guy has a fleet of doctors with him?
Yeah, so really only really rich people with lots of anaphylactic pens, EpiPens. Yeah, so, and then most of it, as I have, is what I mentioned. What makes it so dangerous is the fact that it's becoming so widespread, they can't catch up. Healthcare professionals may not diagnose properly or don't feel comfortable diagnosing at all. So at that point, when you have something like that, there are so many other things it could be than something like a meat allergy from a tick.
Right.
You know, they'll give you a Lyme disease test and they can know, right? They'll give you a spotted fever test and they can know, but they may not even have a test for this yet, worldwide or nation spread or something like that. But it's just wild, you know.
Okay, well now I'm officially depressed. This has been a lifetime of conversation.
Hey, I'm just trying to make people aware, man. I thought, honestly, I mean, I've lived in wooded areas my whole life, or at least I've spent enough time in them. I've had ticks on me, but never gotten bit by ticks. You know, you do the tick check. You try to tuck your pants into your socks when you go out into the woods, and you know, I grew up hunting and wearing stuff, and wear layers and keep yourself covered. You know, because they jump from usually from waist level down. Most of the time, people get them on their legs, but it's not unheard of. You know, you can get them somewhere else. But you know, the CDC estimates more than 450,000 people in the U.S. might have developed this allergy since 2010 and don't even know it.
Wow.
Now, 450,000 people, it's honestly not that big of a number, but it's bigger enough that it's almost
Raise
a
awareness?
third. Enough for people to go, maybe that's why it's happening every time I have fucking, a burger or whatever.
Right. It should be it should be on the news. Okay, this is how it will go. There might be something in your refrigerator right now that is causing your itching, scratching, anaphylaxis, and sudden death. We'll tell you about it at 6 o'clock.
Right? like people are just going to their fridge, they're throwing shit away. They're like, is it chlamydia? It could be chlamydia. Is it chlamydia in my fridge?
Is it lupus?
Lupus. That's terrible.
That's a Seinfeld reference.
Yeah, so the majority of cases that are found in the eastern United States, and it's kind of funny because we're part of that. So, and they're generally, I think what they've gathered, the Lone Star tick is the biggest culprit, which is pretty much a very small tick with a tiny, tiny little white dot on its back. That's why they call it the Lone Star tick. But their territory goes all the way from South Florida to halfway to Texas, and then it cuts pretty much diagonally across the eastern United States, and it's everywhere all the way like north, just south of Canada.
Wait, so this demonic son of a bitch is here in my backyard?
They certainly, well, it is a possibility, yes. Their territory has increased within the last 5 years. Like, they can track tick territory, right? But tracking the diseases that come from them, unless we know, the only way they find out is when people get the disease. Right. And then they have to have enough of them to say, oh, this is this. And then they have to look for that sugar deficiency that your body's fighting against. So literally, like, you ever been to an allergy, like go like to a doctor for an allergy test?
No.
When I was in school, I went for animal care, and somehow our classroom in 12th grade was basically a pet shop. We had about 30, 40 animals. Everything from mice, rats, snakes, dogs, cats, the whole nine.
What, in high school?
Yeah, in high school. I went to, BOCES.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. That's right. BOCES.
And it was a giant classroom full of animals. It was like going to school in a pet store. Mm-hmm. The third month when they started bringing all the animals in, I started having allergic reactions to all of them. I mean, I had huge hives, like the size of $50 from wrist to ankle.
Wow.
Every day I went to school. Every single day. And I couldn't drop out because it was 3 months in. And I would have lost all 5 credits, and there's no way I would have graduated high school, so I had to deal with it. So we go to an allergist. And all they do is take a whole bunch of prodded needles and stick you all over. They stick you in each arm, and they check for reaction. Now, they did it with dander, with dog, with cat, with mice, with urine, with feces, like, the same basic concept. Mm-hmm. And none of them reacted. So my end all of being prodded by needles was, well, you're allergic to all of them. I never told you this story?
No.
Because this is interesting and this is fun. So there was nothing you could do. Basically, they put me on prescription Benadryl, and I had to sleep an hour in class because I was fucking knocked out, and it only just stopped the itching slightly. But literally, I was just covered every day in hives, head to toe. So I graduated because I loved the class. I truly did. It was a fantastic class. We got to dissect a cat, learn the anatomy, do dog washing, and learning about bedding and pet stores and all kinds of stuff, right?
Did you have to kill it 9 times before you did the test?
No, it came in formaldehyde. I think that was the 9th.
Oh, boy.
It was right there, yeah. Yeah, it stinks. But interesting. Anyway, nonetheless, graduate. Okay, so first summer out of graduation. Remember BTJ's Jungle in Long Island off of Sunrise Highway?
No.
They're still there to this day. Big pet store. They used to have gators, and they were a big pet store. Lots of stuff. And we went there ever since I was like 6 years old. My dad used to take me. We'd walk around, buy pets, and look at stuff. So I went in there. The guy hired me on the spot. Are you kidding me? I just came from animal care and graduated. And I explained the situation to him. And I said, I want to try it. I said, maybe it was the school. Maybe there was something in the school, bad ventilation, bad cleaning, who knows, right? First day, fucking great. What do they got me doing? I'm doing grunt work, cleaning fish tanks and cleaning out mice cages and sweeping up and stocking shelves. I didn't give a shit. I was in my world of the animals, right? And you wear like, it's funny because you wear like an apron, like you're at a kitchen. And next day, I go in, second hour, head to toe hives. Like on the dot, the second hour. The moment I got there, I'm like, well, I'm doing something in the back. I look down, I get itchy. Skin starts burning and hives, head to toe. So it took a day, but it caught up. So therefore, I found out that was the moment where I had to change my life career. I would have continued. I would have gone further into animals my entire life. I literally I got discouraged, and I probably could have in a different facet. Right. But that's what drove me to culinary school, because I was like, well, at least I can cook.
Well, what about all the animals you had in your basement?
Never fucking affected me. And this was the question. Now, this is what it's like when you go to an allergist. This is why I understand how medical doctors have some. People always want an answer. They think that all doctors have an answer. They don't. Like, sometimes they just don't know. And they're like, we don't know. And you're like, what do you mean you don't know? You're a fucking doctor. You know, we're like, but everyone's different. Yeah, I asked the same question. I was like, I had everything growing up, and we raised mites and rats to feed the reptiles and the alligator and different things. I had tons of fish, tons of this, tons of that, and whatever it is, somehow I think it could be the combination of all the ammonia and the dander and the feces and the birds. You have to factor in birds, mammals,
birds. I was thinking
right?
Birds.
Like there's all types of stuff. So all of it, all they ever said to me was, all of it combined is causing a reaction in you, and there's nothing we can do.
Wow.
Yeah. But the reason I say it is the fact that, this is how it works. So, like, unless you had 10,000 of me to do a study on, right, you would never come up. There's not enough of that for anybody to go, oh, let's fix this, right? Yeah. You got 450,000 Americans that can't eat fucking McDonald's. Corporations, we put some money into that shit, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Or this is maybe it's Earth's way, Mother Earth's way of turning us vegetarian.
Yeah.
They're like, you guys fucking fucked up the planet with your cow burps and farts, right? And you're eating all this red meat and cattle when you don't have to. Now it's time. We're gonna genetically force you into vegetarianism.
Maybe the cows made it.
Maybe. There's like 12 cows in a lab with coats and shit. And they're like, we'll get them motherfuckers.
It's like a Far Side cartoon.
Yes. Oh my God. That's
one mad cow.
That's really perfect. Yeah. Give us mad cow disease.
They're
I'll give you mad human disease.
They're high hooving each other. We did it.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Wow. No, I don't want that. That's insane, man. Can you imagine not being allergic to red meat? I never even heard of anything like that before.
No, and it's like, but there.
I've heard of it, but not like all of a sudden happening to you.
Right. That's the thing. Like, and there are cases, but most of the time they were like, well, they would even say that most cases were just chalked up to, it's not me, it's you. That you're unique. But now we're finding out maybe we were wrong. Maybe there is a reason that maybe you have this. So now they start doing tests on that sugar instead of the protein. Because like I told you, most allergies come from the proteins, not the sugars. So when they're given a general test for something, they're given a protein test. Right. But if it's not coming up as a protein, then the test comes up inconclusive. Right. But if you actually target it for sugars, which is very unique, that's what makes us so unique. And that's what I found, I think, intriguing about it, is the fact that it's very rare. But rarity is only rare until a whole lot of people have it. Now it's common. Right. Now once it's common, you're like, ooh, let's figure this out, because now we have a lot more test subjects.
Yeah, but did they do enough research to say indeed that everybody that gets bit, in fact, that happens to them?
No, that's the thing. That's why I said before about the percentage level. Like, you may have it, but it only reacts with you, let's say 5%. So you'd have to eat a lot, and then maybe, like you eat a lot of meat and you get the meat sweats, but maybe you get a little itchy, right? But it doesn't affect you. You really don't notice it. But then the guy next to you got bit by the same tick, but now his percentage is 50%. Right. Now he reacts 50% more than you do. But him, it causes nausea and diarrhea and a rash. Right. But then this person gets these three parts. That's the thing. It's kind of like COVID in a lot of ways. Remember, like, people got COVID and they're like, oh, yeah, I lost my sense of smell. And then this other person's like, yeah, I was sick for a day and then I got better. And like, no, it didn't affect me at all.
Yeah,
so, like,
some people had no idea.
Right. And then everyone's going, what the fuck?
Right.
But that's just how we're all a little different.
Yeah.
You know?
I never got tested. I could have had it and never knew.
I got tested, both antibodies and blood work and the nasal, and I got the shot. I never had COVID, never got COVID. COVID never affected me. Not even once. Even with people who had it that I didn't know who had it. Now maybe I'm just less resilient to it. Maybe the shot helped. You know, it's not like I look at it as precautionary, as controversial as it was. I think it was a good thing. Okay, they did the right thing. Okay, they did whatever they could at the time.
Yeah, they tried.
You know? Yes, and I think it worked. It did fine. Because look at us now. Who the fuck's talking about COVID now? Yeah, there's a new strain right now, of course, but it's not on nightly news. Nobody cares. Right. It only cares for those people that are really affected by it. Yeah. Right, and that percentage, luckily, is very low. And this is a very similar thing. It's not going to kill you. It's just the fact that it can force your diet in a way that you didn't have before. It's like one thing, like people that are lactose intolerant. You pretty much know that early on. Like every time I drink a glass of milk, I'm shitting for 3 days, and I get an upset stomach and cramps. You're lactose intolerant. So what do?
Drink Lactaid.
Right, or
avoid it.
You avoid it, or drink soy milk, or go almond milk, right? Yeah. Something like that. So you know that. But this just like now I can't eat red meat, but I've been eating red meat my whole life. Right. That's rough.
Especially since
and I'm not
like a ribeye. So good.
I know. Like I always think about it. Like I'm not a huge red meat eater, but I eat red meat. So,
yeah, I'm not a huge red meat eater, but I like it, and when I want it, I want it.
Sure, right. Like if I'm in I want a burger, I'll get a burger. But I don't have a burger every day, so it's not like I'm not jonesing for it. Right. But at that point, to know that you just can't have it anymore, ever. Like the taste of a red medium rare, like you said, ribeye or sirloin, it would. I don't know. Yeah. I'd cry myself to sleep at night. I don't know.
Oh, that's very moving.
Yeah. So alpha-gal is not. It's not unique to the Lone Star tick, nor geographically to the U.S. Many countries of the world are reporting it as well. So this isn't even something that's localized nationwide. This is like worldwide. And it's not just the Lone Star. They use the Lone Star because I think it was the largest sample collection that they had. But it could be prevalent in all, deer ticks and all kinds of ticks. I've seen all kinds of ticks. And deer ticks are fucking tiny. Yeah. Like they are really, really hard to see. You know.
Wow, so there was a genetic mutation somewhere, and it got, put in a crate of bananas, came to this country, and then
who knows? And that's the thing, we don't even know. I don't even know how they would backtrack that. How could you possibly do it if we know so little about it? Then you'd have to figure out when it started, and then you'd have to weed through all the ones that might not have been the actual thing. I don't know. And this is why you also probably don't hear so much, because there's so many unknowns that they don't have enough knowns to fill in the gaps. Yeah. So you can't do a news report with a whole lot of we don't know. Yeah. Like the news is supposed to be we know because it's news, not we don't know. Hi, welcome to Nightly Unknown. Like unknown news.
This might be the case.
This might be true, but probably not. We have no idea.
And we're not selling any advertisement, not knowing anything.
Right.
And we can't scare the crap out of everybody, so we're not going to put it on yet.
Yeah, so what they've speculated is pretty much every place on Earth from all different varieties of ticks have shown positivity for this, right? Except for Antarctica. And it's kind of funny because that's like they always say that. Like these animals live in every part of the world except Antarctica. Yeah. It's like that.
So I guess all the Antarcticanians are all safe.
Yeah, because no one lives in Antarctica. Yeah. Nothing lives in Antarctica. I think there's a few penguins there.
Yeah.
A couple of months out of the year, and that's it.
The real estate is so cheap. Did you ever check?
It's so cheap. Yeah. You know how cheap it is? No one can buy it.
Yeah.
You're not allowed. The only people who live in Antarctica are scientists, and then it's only for science stations.
Well, they're not scientists. They're actually military, preventing people from coming off the end of the Earth.
But the military is also the only way the scientists can get there. You ever see how they get there?
It's for the flat Earth. They use that they're preventing people from going. That's what they are.
But they ice skate there, right across the ocean.
Yeah, to the Charlie Brown Christmas album.
Yeah. So that was pretty much what I have. Oh, and one of the other problems is that it's not just the meat itself, but the products of the meat.
So like milk,
dairy, and cheese, and milk, right?
But the milk is homogenized and pasteurized.
It is, but it has the same sugars.
Still has the same sugars.
That are it's specifically the sugars because milk is sweet and it has more. Of course, it has proteins, but if it was proteins, it'd be one thing. But it's the sugars. This is what's crazy about it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about it because I'm curious to see in the next 3 to 5 years where we're going and what we're doing and how much we're figuring out. Because I've literally went back and found the videos and articles I read years ago on it. And it was pretty much the same as it is now, except the only difference is that the number of people have gone up, the number of tick territory have gone up. So basically, it's the same concept. Well, the more you have, the more gets sick. I mean, supply and demand. That's why, like I said, what makes something rare is that only a few people get it. Yeah. Once you get, a whole lot of people getting it, we got to put some money into it. So we got to put some time. Now you have more data. Maybe in 5 to 10 years, they'll slap it into a supercomputer, and it'll come up with a way to fight this sugar allergy with some other sort of, combatant. I have no idea. I just thought it was fascinating.
Wow.
Not to get all excited about fucking meat allergy tick disease, but I just found this one really good.
I'm more excited about that computer getting built.
They probably should cure cancer before they cure this thing.
Oh, they could do it at the same time. We got enough money.
Maybe they'll build 2 computers. Yeah. Like one for that, one for cancer.
And they could have a contest. We could bet on it. Yeah.
So, like you said, is there a cure? No, there's no cure. So what do we do? How do you prevent yourself from getting tick bites? I mean,
I don't know. So be careful.
Yeah.
No. How do you prevent yourself from getting hit by a car?
You look both ways, right? So, but when you go into the woods, I mentioned it before, you tuck your pants into your socks over so that there's no exposed skin. Right. You wear layers. And I know it's difficult in places like Florida and Louisiana. It's fucking hot. You don't want to put on a long sleeve shirt, but you want to eat a burger? Yeah. But yeah, tuck your pants into your socks. And DEET with 30% still works. Any kind of like insect repellent with DEET tends to still work. Right. And that's it.
And DEET's controversial enough on its own.
It is, but it works. And that's the reason it's still here, because we don't have another...
No alternative.
Alternative, yeah, exactly. And maybe there is. People use citronella, but that doesn't work for all insects. That works for mosquitoes and maybe some birds and some certain types of things that don't like the smell of citronella. But ticks don't care about that. Yeah. They burrow into your skin. They go right underneath it. Yeah. But the DEET's a chemical, so I don't even know how that works. This was literally the only preventive measures you could find was tuck your socks in, be aware when you're in high grassy brush areas, and wear DEET. That's it.
Oh, man. Frisky had a tick one time, I remember.
Did he?
Yeah, it was
big. I've never found one on a dog. I've seen fleas, and I've never seen it on a dog. And my dog was out, like, when we let him out the back, he had a lead. Mm-hmm. And he had a good portion of half the backyard to run in. Now, it wasn't brushy. That's the thing. It was mostly dropped leaves and a lot of trees, so you don't get a lot of undergrowth. Because basically, most people don't realize it. A tick life cycle is not exactly what you think. They spend most of their life on an animal, right? So most of the time it's deer, it's raccoons, it's mice and stuff like that. But then when they get big enough, they transfer themselves to high brush. And it's really slick because they literally climb to the highest part of the brush and just wait for something to come by. Yeah. And then they jump on it. And that's how you'd get it. Now, if you got it on your clothes, it's very, very unlikely it's going to get anywhere near you because it's going to get brushed off and they don't last long without food. So, I mean, at that point, can't get to you. But again, you're walking through with short socks and biker shorts on.
I'm amazed there are some weird people that have like pet ticks. They stick it on there. What do you do? I'm feeding them right now.
Oh, man, have you ever seen the video with the fat guy with the bloat fly? Oh, my God, it'll make you nauseous, Rob. You know what a bloat fly is?
I think I heard about this on the radio today.
God, it's disgusting.
Was it in his nose or something?
No, this one was, okay. A bloat fly is this big black fly, right? And basically, I think it lays a single egg, but in your skin. Mm-hmm. And basically, the maggot grows inside your skin, causing all the skin around you to go necropic, and it and it basically feeds off the dead skin and makes a hole inside of you. Mm-hmm. Now, most people notice this and go to the doctor and get it removed, right? Because it's not going to kill you. It's just going to turn into a fly and buzz out of you.
Right.
There's a whole video of this fat guy where he got it right next to his belly button and he was fucking raising it. Like he left it there on purpose and recorded it. Now it's like, I don't know. I was repulsed by it, to the fact that like okay, it'd be one thing if like you're a scientist and you're writing a paper on this, right? And you're going to take one for the team, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, who wants the bloat fly?
Right, because nobody wants who wants to be that volunteer,
all right?
Right?
Fine.
How much you got to pay that guy? But yeah, so the guy raised it, and eventually it was, and it's a giant maggot. When I say like big, it's like a big, fat, grubby looking maggot living inside his fucking.
Ew.
It was right up like next to his belly button. Yeah, it made me nauseous.
It was like a nurturing environment.
Well, yeah, because he nurtured it.
He loved it. I mean, did he name it anything?
I don't know. He was all nonchalant about it. I was just repulsed and grossed. I mean, at this point, I don't know. I mean, to each his own, I guess. You know, you that lonely, buddy? The internet?
Did they have it on?
You put it on the internet. You couldn't find someone to love you?
No, he finally did. Oh, that's a love story. That could be a Hallmark movie.
That's a love story.
And then the fly goes out.
Whatever happened to that fly?
The fly flies away, and he's crying. He's like...
There's slow, sad music in the background, fading.
And like, what are you going to do? I'm going to let him go. And if he really was mine, he'll come back.
He'll come back and lay more eggs in my ass cheek. Yeah. Yeah, but, you know, and again, that's... I guess that would be a form of parasitical at a life stage. Right. You know, like, because, again, you couldn't miss it. It turns your skin black. Like, it necrotizes your skin. So then that's what maggots basically do. That's why they use maggots to clean dead bodies for forensics, because they basically eat dead tissue.
Yeah, they only eat the dead tissue.
And it comes out clean. So, like, they actually do a good job, and that's great.
Yeah, and they put the bandage over, and they let the maggots live in there and eat all the dead meat.
And then when the necrotic tissue is gone, maggots won't eat fresh skin, so they actually take it off. And they actually still use that today in modern medicine in very specific circumstances. Like leeches. Like, you think we don't use leeches anymore, but we kind of do, but only in very specific, and they're medical grade leeches.
They're not stand by me leeches.
They're not like got a leech in the fucking pond leech.
Yeah.
But
those are nasty.
I don't know. So I don't know. Maybe we'll find a cause. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I still think it's nature's way of telling us that we fucked up and we got to start eating more plants.
Yeah, well.
But
I think nature's told us that in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, they have. I think really what we need to do is just start listening more.
Why would we listen? We're the smartest and the best. We're like people in your stupid bloat fly. Stupid.
Yeah, that was a side note.
Lone Star.
That one always stuck in my head for a long time. And I've heard stories. So there's one biker guy. He used to he bikes like in off-road bikes, like mountain biking in another country. And I think he was in Chile or South America, and he had a cut on his ankle, and he was going through puddles and muck and whatever.
Not good.
Gets back to the States, and week goes by, and he keeps itching his eyes, and he doesn't understand. Scratching, feels like his skin is crawling.
It is.
He looks in the mirror, opens his eye, and there were millions of worms crawling inside his eyes. Now, they weren't just in his eyes. They were under his skin. They were everywhere. His whole body was but the eyes were the only place you could see them.
Right.
You couldn't see them. And basically, it's horrific, right? But he just went to the doctor. They gave him a high dosage of antibiotics or whatever kills them. Mm-hmm. And that's it. You flush them out, and they're gone. Now you're fine. But that little thing, he had a little cut on his ankle. He got one worm or two worms or whatever in his skin that went into his bloodstream, and then a week later, your fucking eyes are swimming in worms. Can you fucking imagine?
I wouldn't have went to the doctor.
You would have raised them like blowflies?
No, I would have joined the X-Men. I mean, Spider-Man, Worm Man.
You're almost as bad as Aquaman. At least he can talk to fish.
No, Worm Man, he gets on his belly and just waddles around.
Someone cut your head off, you're like, ha ha, I'm going to regrow that motherfucker right now. Now there's two of me. What are you going to do about that?
He chases bad guys on his mountain bike.
That reminds me of an old video game.
Gross.
It was one of the most, and I did a lot of drawings of him when I was young. Earthworm Jim. It was a video game based on a worm who found an alien suit and became a superhero because of the suit. Earthworm Jim.
Take that, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right, yeah. Actually, it was before then. I think the game was before the Turtles.
That's weird.
But anyway, I don't want to side note any more of this just because it was kind of ridiculous and long. But
yeah, I think we covered all of our bases.
Yeah, I know sometimes we have some weird topics here, but I enjoy the weird. I think it's more of the idea that people need to look it up, find it out.
Yeah.
Go look it up yourself, because I will never say anything that I didn't do, let's say, 73% accurate research on. Mm-hmm. Some of it you just can't find, or it's just too convoluted to understand. Mm-hmm. And I try to take things into the layman's terms as best as possible, because I'm there with everyone else when they're trying to figure out stuff. Yeah. But I just, there's so much crap out there that people may not know. And like you said, it's not on the nightly news. No one's going to talk about this. Yeah. But people are talking about it. They're just,
Well, if you want to learn about the stuff you don't hear on the news, listen to us. And if we're wrong about something, call us out on our shit at lifetimeofconversations@gmail.com.
And then go listen to the news because they're telling you bullshit anyway. Well, you can also check us out on our YouTube channel, Lifetime of Conversations at youtube.com. Thanks for listening, everybody, and
peace. Peace.